Hey, welcome to the Mythical Garden. This is the Mystic Mentor podcast. I'm your host, Gianna. This is my co-host and godfather, Joey.
Check.
On today's podcast, we're gonna talk about our spiritual path, and we're gonna begin. Bendición.
Santo. Let's talk.
All right.
Thank you everybody for watching our last video. I appreciate it very much. Like I said, I'm not here to get rich. I'm just here to teach. I like to teach people things. So today we're going to talk about self-preservation and your path. And the reason we're going to talk about this because I've seen too many people in close proximity to me getting taken advantage of. And not only getting taken advantage of, but being taken advantage of and put into situations that they're innocent. They know no better.
Mm-hmm.
They don't understand that what they're getting into, they're just getting into it for the sake of, we're gonna say, protection or acceptance or whatever the case is. Like if in my opinion, it's not a gang. This is not a gang. You come in and you get all the benefits and the protections of it, and then you run about and you do whatever you're gonna do and you expect nothing in return. God doesn't look at us like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's off the top. A lot of people use this religion to to get rich. You ain't getting rich on this. This is not something you're gonna get rich on. First of all, this was intended to take care of one another,
Mm-hmm.
to help one another. It's not to use bodies to climb over till you get to the top. Because if you really get into this religion, the first thing you're gonna learn is that Eshu will let you climb to the top of a summit and plant your flag just to kick you down and watch you roll down the hill.
Spartan kick.
It's Spartan kick for real. So no beating around the bush, just getting straight into it. The first thing I want to talk about is the origins of your path. First path you need to understand when getting into any religion is God is God. God has many faces, God has many names, but God is God.
Yep.
And that's it. There's it and I understand there are atheists out there that don't believe in God. And there's th- getting on TikTok. I have seen in 2024 more people that would worship the evil to get ahead than to follow God.
Mm-hmm.
What did God do to you that you exempt him from your life? Because if your ego is that big, ego, you're edging God out of everything. Maybe it's just that I learned young. Maybe it's just that I learned as I'm getting older. I'm only 49. I still got a whole life ahead of me. But I want my children, now that I have children, I want my children to know truth, to be honest. I want my kids to follow the right path, whatever path they choose. As long as God is a part of every path they choose, choose whatever path you want to choose. Like when you came into the religion, the first thing I told you was this is not for show. A lot of people get into this to rock the beads and go out there and show, this is not a game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's 333 Orishas, so you call it what you want. But like for example, I was born with this.
Mm-hmm.
You was born with this.
Yes.
There's a lot of people that are born with it, but I've never tried to play past what I can do. I've never tried to put myself to a level where I knew I wasn't at.
Yeah.
I never tried to sell myself for anything other than a practitioner of Santeria. And when I moved to Florida and getting into Ifa, which is the main root of Santeria, Palo, it's 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 straight from the motherland.
Mm-hmm.
We're all foreigners here.
Yep.
We are all foreigners here. And I'm not trying to get into the political thing. That's a whole nother day. But we're not native to this land. I don't care that you was born here. Your family wasn't born here. Your ancestors weren't born here. They were born somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
This was Native American land. Period.
Yep.
In just getting past that, getting straight to this origins. The first thing I want to talk about is knowing the origins of your path. You see, a lot of people they want to come into the religion, or they feel pulled to the religion, and they go to people. I'm not saying I'm the only real person out there. I know there's millions of people out there that are real about this.
Mm-hmm.
That we take offense to you using it in the wrong way, or disrespecting it, or looking down on it.
Yeah.
The first thing is that I want people to understand is that when you come into this religion, there's no practitioner in this religion that can choose your path for you. They cannot choose your rishas for you. They cannot choose your path for you. They cannot dictate to you what you can and can't do.
Mm-hmm.
There's rules to everything. So there's rules in this. Like with anything. The first thing you have to do is you have to get a reading.
Mm-hmm.
Not just a card reading. It's not about just a card reading. You need to get your Odu, your destiny read. Like I said in the previous episode, everybody's born with the guardian angel.
Mm-hmm.
And that guardian angel sits on your head. So you have to find out who owns the specific parts of you. In learning who your guardian angel is, there's a process you go through. It's not just a card reading. You have to go to a babalao, which is a high priest. He has to sit down and he has he has to divine the answers to figure out who's your guardian angel,
Mm-hmm.
what orishas you belong to. Because the orishas don't belong to us, we belong to them.
Yeah.
A lot of people misunderstand that and they speak out their mouths and they go, I'm a this and I'm a that. No, you're not. I don't care how many crowns you get. You're not that Orisha. That Orisha, you're a part of that Orisha's
Is
path. Okay.
is that where the whole term of daughter of Yamaya, daughter of Oshun, son of Shango, that's what the term comes from because they own us in that sense?
We're ponies, we're vessels. They ride us. When you get mounted, what do you do to a horse? You mount it.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just ponies for them. Now, whether it happens when you're older or you're younger, if this is for you and it calls you and this is where you're supposed to be, then like I said, first thing you have to do is you have to go to get a reading.
Mm-hmm.
There's several different methods to the reading to figure out who's your Orishas.
Mm-hmm.
Then once it's decided who your Orishas are, you have to go to Eshu, who guards all roads and doors.
Mm-hmm.
And Eshu has also been misinterpreted as evil because he's like so playful and so deceitful. Nah, he's hard to please.
Yeah. And
That's
it
what happens when you're young and you get a whole bunch of power, but
yeah.
you're young. Don't young dudes out there do that? Young people out there do that?
Mm-hmm. I just want to backtrack a little bit because you said you joined the religion if it's a calling, like it's being called to you.
Right.
And I remember, boy, we're in 2024, last year in 2023 in January, before I even met you or even knew about you, I remember me and my cousin was having a conversation in January. And all I told her is like, I have to learn Santeria. And she was like, where's this coming from? I was like, I don't know, but that's what I'm being told.
But now remember, you have ancestors that came that ended up in New Orleans and then fanned out.
Mm-hmm.
Was New Orleans the most spiritual capital of the world?
Yeah, and it was funny is I
And
think
it's not just voodoo and hoodoo that reside there.
yeah,
People misinterpret that too. That's no. It's very. It's not even just about slavery. Let's get past that. The religion itself, it was based there. It spread out through there because that's where all the slaves got sent through.
yeah.
The East Coast and there. That was a major port for slaves, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So back to what I was saying, you have to get yourself read in many different ways.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few different steps you take to find out who your Orishas are. Once those Orishas are assigned to you, it's not a permanent thing. When your Orishas, yeah, you those are the ones that you got your guardian angel, the king, down with you. But when you assign the Orishas, they're not permanent. You piss them off, you disrespect them, you
Mhm.
deface their value, they're gonna move you on to the next one.
Yep.
Run out of them, run out of an Orisha to be turned to, you in trouble. You got no place in this. There's a big respect for this. And I've seen a lot of people that they come into this, and I've seen Babalaos and I've seen Santeros, and I don't care if you know you did it, then you know who I'm talking to. If you didn't do it, forgive me for saying it. There's people out here that they take your money and they sit you down and they tell you, okay, you're gonna give me two, three, 4,000, $5,000 to do this, this, and that, and give you the total wrong thing.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing the consequences of this, because you give somebody the wrong Orisha, you drive them crazy, you lose their head. They lose their head.
Yeah.
And I've seen people come out here and do that shit. And they put it down on people. Yeah, give me 2,000, give me 3,000, I give you 8, I give the war. If anybody charges you more than $231 for your warriors, your beads, your first steps should not be expensive like that. But I've seen people drop thousands on it.
Mm-hmm.
For what? To become a yabo, an initiate, you get your beads first. That's the first thing they do. They give you your beads. The next thing you're gonna do is once you receive your beads and you're gonna know your path, start saving your money because then you're gonna need your warriors.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get your warriors, once you receive those warriors, you're gonna know what path you're gonna take. You're gonna know whether you're gonna go to the left and you're gonna do just spiritual work, or you're gonna work with the Orishas and do spiritual work. Or you're just going to work with the Orishas. There's paths to choose, not paths to choose. There's paths you can be on, but no one can choose your path for you.
Mm-hmm.
There's no living person that could sit down and say in any book of any history of the religion that they were told they can pick your Orishas for you. That's a lie, and people have been conned into it, and people have lost on it.
Mm-hmm.
For God's sakes, I've heard to make $1, I've seen people give things to people that didn't even have their war. It's a step-by-step process. Beads, warriors. Then you move on from there.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen people give hand orishas that they handmade to people that shouldn't have had those things. Now, though, that person that handed it to you, he's on top, sitting there counting your money, sitting there spending and eating in restaurants, and you're living in an abandoned home, or you're living out of your car and you got kids to feed, but they didn't give a shit about that. They didn't care about that. Instead, they took your money from you.
So is there on besides the person who the money got taken from having the shit end of the stick, the person who done it, is there a consequence for them? Or is it just whenever the
I,
hammer comes down?
if I sat here and told you that I've seen the person that did that, yeah, I've seen
Mm-hmm.
some people hand out the wrong thing to the wrong people and they end up losing their lives over it. Quick example, I knew a kid who he was in the religion and he was deep. He could have been somebody big. Now you notice that I just say he could have been.
Mm-hmm.
That boy ain't alive. He could have been in his 30s right now. But he lost his life to cancer because he sat down with the wrong person who also lost their life to cancer the same way he did. That person died years later, of course, but he 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 showed the kid things he shouldn't have seen. It's no joke when I tell you you have to be initiated and be put through the steps in the process and learn to build that muscle
Mm-hmm.
before you can go too far and learn too much because then you lose yourself.
Yep.
That person that helped you lose yourself, they don't care. As long as they got your money in their pocket, it was okay. Not understanding everything's a boomerang.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, we do believe in God in this. We have God in this. God is in, we follow Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus is a part of this religion as well. And if you think that God doesn't look after his kids, take advantage of one and see what happens. And that's why I tell you, if somebody, you go to somebody and they tell you This is your Orisha because I think you should just do this or you should this is your no, that ain't accurate.
Hmm.
And honestly, I tell you the same way if you were going to a doctor that misdiagnosed you, get a second opinion.
Yep.
Don't just cling on to somebody who you think, oh my God, they're the shit. They're them. Listen, I've seen a lot of people who can't pick up cards, who give you a reading and it's totally inaccurate, and people fall in love with it. Anything to get up, to move up, it makes no sense. That's like me saying, I'm gonna go to the barber school and get a haircut rather than to go to a professional barber and get the hair. 'Cause I want to see if them students can really save my hairline. Let my hairline get this far back. I don't care, but I'm going to the professional. And it's a shame because it's like I said, there's a lot of good people that lost themselves,
Mhm.
lost everything, betting on the wrong person, on the wrong horse.
It doesn't it have to do with a lot of spiritual discernment versus just following because oh this.
You born when you in heaven, you born with it's already pre or God already gave you all the instructions on what you was coming down to do.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna say he showed you the people. I'm not. I don't remember that far back. I can remember far back as two or three, but I can't remember far back that to before I was conceived.
Yeah.
But you know, there's a lot of things I can't say, and there's a lot of things I could say, and I'm gonna go for everything I could say.
Hmm.
You're given a choice on what you're gonna do when you get here. Free will determines where you're gonna go with it. You have the free will to go and cling on to the first person in the religion that you see that'll take you into the religion.
Hmm.
Doesn't mean you have to stay with that person. And another thing that I want to tell people is you are not obligated to stay with a godparent that is draining your pocket. You are not obligated to stay with a godparent who gives you no results. If somebody puts beads on your neck in this religion and 2 days later those beads pop, run for your life. Because they're just gonna take your money. You're just gonna go back and pay and go to somebody who gives it to you for the whole plate of food. You don't go to McDonald's and order a four-piece chicken nuggets, a burger, and fries, and they only give you the nuggets and the fries, and you say, "Well, it's okay. They took my cheeseburger. It's all right." Hell no! You in this day and age, you paid for that cheeseburger. Give me my whole order.
That's a whole fact.
I mean, it sounds silly with the way I'm saying it, but I'm trying to keep it clean, because this really upsets me,
Yeah. It.
and it upsets me because I've saved people that
Mm.
have come to me that were wronged by that type of person. The work that you have to put gives you this early. It is this is a religion, and in anything you do, it takes energy, which takes life force from you. But in this religion, it eats at you.
Hmm.
Why does it eat at you?
Why?
If you like me, you put yourself into it. So when somebody comes to you that needs that lifesaver, no matter how many times you got to throw it till you perfectly get it around them, you keep throwing it.
Hmm.
That takes energy. That takes time. And those are two things you can't get back. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care how much riches you find. You can't get time back, and you cannot get that life out your back.
Hmm.
That life force, you can't get that back. Once you use it, it's like they say when you smoke, you burn brain cells. You can't get back. You can't regenerate. That's something you can't regenerate.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
could just keep moving forward. The other thing that I wanted to talk about. Now, the first thing that I was speaking on was the origins of your path. Know your origins. Be accurate about it.
Hmm.
Make sure that whoever you're going to, they got it on point. Get a second opinion. Get a third opinion. But stay away from going to those people that they're just gonna decide for you. They're not God.
Hmm.
That's their ego telling you this is your Orisha and this is that. But egos, remember, edging God out. If you edge God out, then you're making your own decisions, and you shouldn't do that.
Hmm.
You have ancestors that if they were in this religion, they're gonna punish you for it first.
And I like to tell people too. when people are like, oh, but how you find your own path? Listen to your heart, because your heart is your moral compass. It will always lead you on the right path. That's what that term "follow your heart" comes from. And a lot of people think, oh, it's just an organ. No, it's your moral compass. It's your spiritual compass.
Yeah, and that's where I want to get to the next topic, which is finding a destination.
Mm-hmm.
Research. You know what I'm saying? If you do your research and you look in, like you go to somebody and they tell you these are your Orishas. Example, just this is an example. Let's say I went to somebody and they told me my Orishas was the ones that I am now. Yeah, my Yano Chung. I also have Chango. But Chango was only given to me to protect me because I have family members that were doing things to my mom when she was pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only reason why I was given Chango to protect. The thing about it is you want to find your destination and you want to research your Orishas. You want to look into the Orishas and see what are the similarities that correlate between you and the Orisha. Or
Mm-hmm.
let me say it right, the Orisha and you.
Yeah.
Because if you know Chung, you're gonna have things it's gonna tell you, you know, this A, this B, this C that the Orisha has, you do the same thing. You have the same things. It'll tell you likes and dislikes. You'll like the same things, you'll dislike the same things
Mm-hmm.
that the Orisha doesn't like or dislike. So you're gonna see a fit. You know what I'm saying? It's like trying on shoes. You can keep trying to find where you fit with that Orisha that was given to you. If you see that there's nothing that Orisha has that even don't convince yourself of it, know it.
Mm-hmm.
If you and that Orisha's paths don't correlate and they're not parallel, that's not your Orisha. You can own the Orisha. You can have the Orisha. You can be crowned with the Orisha once you receive your initial crowns. But you want what's yours first and foremost. It's a step-by-step process.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to someone and they say, okay, well, listen, you're an espiritista, which is a spiritualist. You're not a santero. You're not gonna be a santero. You're not gonna be you know those things in your first initial your odu. That tells you where you're going with this. Don't let anyone convince you or convince yourself that you should go further when you shouldn't. It's like walking barefoot on glass. If you got a pair of shoes on and you're gonna take your shoes off to walk across that glass because somebody convinced you that's the way to righteousness, or are you just gonna walk over the damn glass with your shoes on and find out for yourself?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people they take chances. You're taking chances. This is not a game. This Santeria is not a game. And it's not even just about Santeria, it affects everything. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? It affects the way you move, the way you talk, the way you think, the way you eat, sleep, everything.
I, it's funny you said it because I was a big drinker. Me, heavy drinker. I could outdrink military grown men. And I've been in the religion, and the last time I drank was New Year's. I haven't touched. To me, alcohol is disgusting now. It's ugh, and that's when
And
it
and
noticed.
and that's the other thing. Like I try to tell people a lot, listen, when you got your cards read, or when you got read, or when you did your divination with a babalao to find out who your Orishas was. But any coconuts involved in this, and I hear a lot, I mean, more no's than yes. If Eshu wasn't throwing coconuts at the end of your reading to determine that was 100% accurate,
Mm-hmm.
you went down the wrong path. Do it again. Start all over. Now, I'm not telling you poppy beads or get rid of your Orishas, but go to somebody else who can fix it. Everything is fixable. This is not a religion where things can't be fixed. Things can be fixed.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to find a person that really wants to do it. That this isn't it runs in here. If it don't run in your blood, then don't be a poser. Because in posing, you can take advantage monetarily as much as you want against anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But is that dollar worth your life? It takes is a dollar. The fender reaches over a dollar. Steal a dollar from us, you watch what happens. That's all I can say. um, what was the next thing?
Stay on track.
And that's the other thing that people have to understand, that when you do your reading, the final two steps to your reading is going to be determined, that is, this is what you're supposed to do, and yes, stick with it.
Mm-hmm.
And they can also tell you if you don't stick with it, and if any Santero or Babalaos out there not giving their person that other option of saying, okay, well, if you don't stick with this, now when you say don't stick with this, don't tell the person don't stick with this or else, and then you fear mongering them
Don't.
into believing that if they don't do what you say, then that's it. No, give them there are options to this. It's either you just stay away from the religion, or you come into the religion and you get to where you're supposed to be because it was already determined where you was gonna be. All
Mm-hmm.
you have to do is find the truth to it. A lot of people don't give that truth. They sell you falsehoods. They sell you bullshit. And I'm apologizing for cussing in advance, but it's the truth. They don't see you as a practitioner, like an equal, or someone who could come in and be an equal. Nah, they look at you like a wallet with legs.
Yeah.
How much money could I pull out that wallet before it hits the floor? And that's sad. That's sad because it's like saying, how much could I get out of you before you die? And it's a shame, man. I'm watching people out here in Ocala, Florida do it, and it's a shame. These people out here being suckers and letting people rob them, thinking that they're gonna manifest something wonderful, and nothing come of it.
Mm-hmm.
So then you make people like me, who do this from my heart, from my soul. You make good people targets for your stupidity, and that ain't cool. That is not cool at all.
No.
And then the next thing which leads us down this road is staying on path and avoiding obstacles like that. Yes, there are innocent mistakes in life. You can. There's many mistakes. We all have our mistakes we've made. There's no such thing as an innocent mistake if you're being ignorant and following those that are leading you down the wrong path, and you know it. Your ancestors, one of the first things you're going to get taught if you come into this religion is that your ancestors are your most powerful tool,
Mm-hmm.
because no family is going to lead you down the wrong path. I mean, they love you. Let's say like that.
Yeah.
Some families, oof. But your ancestors specifically, they're not going to lead you down the wrong path. Doing things against each other in a family is a big no-no. And a
Big.
lot of people do it. A lot of people do it. But then I've realized that a lot of people have no fear of consequences anymore. And that's the shame to this.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you're making us good people in the religion look like targets. And it's sad because there's a lot this can offer you. You got to know the difference between making an intentional mistake and making an innocent mistake.
Mm-hmm.
See, the intentional is that you're going to keep following that person. And the innocent is that you're going to go get a second or a third opinion. You don't believe what I'm saying? Go get a second or third opinion, but get it from somebody like me. Don't get it from a phony. That nigga don't know. He don't know what he's talking about. That guy don't know what he's talking about. Look into what I'm talking about. Don't just pick up a book and think the book is going to teach you the religion. This religion wasn't taught through books. It was taught orally.
Mm-hmm.
When I started as a teenager, I was taught, and I wasn't allowed to have a book to write things down, or told to go to the Botanica and buy a book. I was told to stay away from books in the Botanica and don't bring a book and a pen here because you're going to have to learn this. If you ain't got the mental capability to remember everything you taught, you shouldn't learn the religion,
Mm-hmm.
because it should be second nature. And you got a lot of people out here that they go to the Botanica and they buy these. They're not blessed or anything. They throw them on, throw a whole bunch of statues behind them. I am a diviner on TikTok. Send me money, send me likes. Click up there and click down here and do this and do that. And they sleep just fine knowing they took your money. And they sleep just fine knowing that they fake.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't give two damns if you ain't gonna come up. Their come up is more important than your come up. And like I said in the other episode, I could say at least 2 dozen people in my lifetime that I've made rich. They have no financial worries at all right now. And they have generational wealth they're sitting on for their kids.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still working on mine. I never saw them come back to give me any end. But I wasn't looking for that either. Because when God chooses for the universe to punch my ticket and give me what I'm due, I'll get it. Till then, I'll sit back patiently and wait. But I won't sell myself.
Mm-hmm.
And if the difference between innocent and ignorant is that if you're innocent, the person took advantage of you, and you don't find when you do find out, I wash my hands with you.
Yep.
And ignorant is that you keep giving them money. And I've seen people do. I watched a man in 6 months just to be in a religion and feel accepted. 20, 30, $40,000 that wasn't even his. Right out the bank into the person's pocket.
Mm-mm.
I watched this man pay $7,000 to have a shipping container sent from Africa here to Florida. You know what he got? Literally a little trinket like the size of my pen, a little statue this big, out of that whole container
I'll be
that
back.
he paid to have sent, and he helped empty. A little statue this big. A little egungun statue this big, carved in wood. What? And that's ignorance. And there's first thing you need to know is the Orishas don't have ay benditos. They don't feel sorry for you.
Yeah.
The Orishas don't have pity. If you keep running into the wall after they showed you the wall there 5 times, the sixth time, the seventh, and every time after that is on you. They don't care. They're not gonna pick you up.
Yeah, it's like that saying, shame was it shame on you? But fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. No,
Gotcha. Gotcha.
I like the J. Cole version. Fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me, fool me three times, the peace sign.
and
That's
and
I like the J. Cole version.
and in doing in in knowing your path and following your path, staying on course. We have Orishas that keep us on course. I'm not gonna get into that right now because we this is we're taking time on this. But I'm taking my time on this because I want people to understand that there's an Orisha in this religion for everything,
Mm-hmm.
including keeping you on course. It's only you that allows yourself to go off course with this. It's only you that will allow yourself to be taken advantage of. Because God gave you a heart and gave you a soul. And the two of them together are the best radar for bullcrap.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people just don't use it because they want that quick, easy win. That's not what this life is about. Which leads us to the next thing I want to talk about, which is understanding your place.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know any other way to say this than to just say it straight up. And that's to stay within the boundaries of your abilities.
Yeah.
When you come in this, they're gonna tell you what you can and can't do, where you're gonna go with it and where you're not. Yes, you can learn other things you can learn the things that they tell you you're not gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
And you might be able to change that, but you're not gonna have the same results as what you're really directed to do with yourself, with the Orishas. When the Orishas want you to be with them, it's in your destiny. It's
Yep.
written in stone. Ache means so be it. That's it. You can follow that, or you can be a knucklehead and go the other way. But don't fake what you don't got.
Yeah.
Don't sit down and play. Listen, all that crap they show you on TikTok with mountings and this and that. First of all, shame on you. That's not supposed to be on TikTok. Or the in tambores with the raining the playing the drumming down of the orishas. Shame on you. That's not supposed to be done on camera.
Mm-hmm.
So for you to do it for a heart, a little tap on a screen heart, and a little 7 penny donation, shame on you. And anybody that partook in that, shame on them too, because they're gonna get your consequence with you. There's no sparing you the consequences. The consequences are yours, period. And a lot of people don't understand that. And what they don't understand is that the Orishas themselves determine what your role is going to be and your power is going to be on what level you're going to be at.
Mm-hmm.
You're not just handed a bowl of power and that's it.
Yeah. It's like pick one.
Yeah, just swish your hand through and the first marshmallow you pick out, that's your power. No. Because I've seen people come in with weaknesses that they over time they grew.
Mm-hmm.
It's muscle memory. They learned it. And now from like I keep saying, I keep trying to implore people not to think that if you go buy a book that you could do that, you could do what's in that book, or you could follow what's in that book, and it's gonna work for you because it might not. You might actually set a fire under your own ass that you can't turn out.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that, and they believe that this is for me, this is for me, but it might not be for you. Like I said in the beginning of this episode, and I'm gonna say it again. First and foremost is God.
Mm-hmm.
God is in everything we do, including Santeria, including Ifa. And a lot of people misinterpret because they're sacrifices and not just animal sacrifices. Yes, there are in Santeria and in Ifa and Palo and all. There there's there's animal sacrifices. One, we usually eat the animals.
Yeah.
So the only sacrifice that the animal is giving is blood.
Mm-hmm.
Again, something we can't really get into, but there's a reason for it. And a lot of people miss they call it monstrous or evil.
Yeah.
Okay, now when a priest becomes a priest, he goes through training. When
Mm-hmm.
a nun becomes a nun, she goes through training. Everything has training to it. When you go to a priest to receive your sacrament, what does he give you? He gives you a cracker and a sip of wine. And what does the wine represent?
The blood of Jesus.
Then damn it, don't tell me blood in a religion is evil.
Mm-hmm.
Just like I've seen people on TikTok selling the idea that God is not real and church is the biggest Ponzi scheme ever created. And religion is the biggest Ponzi scheme ever. Are you crazy? Religion is the first thing you're born with because God got to see fit for you and your mother and your father to have you as in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, magic is magic, but it's not a magical thing. Okay, some people call it magical, but it's not about magic. It's about spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
Everything has a life force. I live where there's so many different animals and insects, and if I ain't gotta kill it and it's not hurting anybody, or let it be.
Yep.
So some people in this religion I've come across, even though you try to show them over and over again, yo, you're going down the wrong path. This is not your path. And they keep convincing themselves that that is the path that they're supposed to be on because that's what they chose. Then you chose the path. The Orishas didn't choose your path.
Mm-hmm. And when they go down the wrong path, do they face resistance? Like as in obstacles and pretty much hit a brick wall.
I've seen people's I've seen a person was told you're not Chango. Stop telling people you're a Chango. Rocking the red and white, rocking Chango. Don't you're not a Chango. Stop telling people you're Chango. And this fool did not listen.
Mm-hmm.
He drove away from the people. He got literally New York City blocks away from them. And at the next light on Tremont Avenue, his car caught fire. His
Mm-mm.
electrical system shorted and his car caught fire. Up to that point, I had never seen anything like that. But it happened. Why? Because you're messing with something that is real.
Mm-hmm.
How could you not believe in God? Take a deep breath. Take a breath. That's God.
Yep.
When you born, what's the first thing you do?
You
You
take a
take your
breath.
first breath. When
Mm-hmm.
you die, what's the last thing you do?
Take your last breath.
God's with you in each one.
Mm-hmm.
People have said, what does God, if there's a God, what does he sound like? Inhale and then exhale. That's what God sounds like.
Yep.
You don't have to believe me. You don't have to believe a priest. You don't have to believe a religious person, but believe yourself. You know? And a lot of people don't. They don't no more. Why? We've been under so much fear for so many
Oh,
years.
fear. I hate that word.
Everybody's living under a different, if not the same, different types of fear.
Mm-hmm.
Did Jesus live in fear? No. He knew they was going to come after him. He knew they was going to try to eradicate him because of what he was teaching.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted to control the people through religion and control the religion in which they learned.
Yeah.
Every book was written by man. The
Mm-hmm.
Bible, the Quran. So you have to go back and you have to remember that all these books are 50-50
Yeah.
because as they pass through hands, not every person that wrote in that book decided to write the truth. They wrote what they needed to write, 25% of what they needed to write, 25% of the truth, 25% of something that was investigated, and then 25% was their opinion.
Yeah.
It's you can look it up.
And not
You
only that, the Bible has been translated, mistranslated 1,000 times over in the past how many centuries? So it's not even an accurate story. It's more, I would say, stories. Like,
like I tell grown adults that make the wrong decisions in this religion. As a kid, you taught right from wrong.
yeah.
My son is 6 years old in kindergarten right now, learning the law and why we have laws and why we follow laws. If you're not gonna follow it, don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not gonna respect what's been in place for thousands of years, then don't do it. Stick to what you know.
Yep.
Believe in yourself. Make yourself your own God, if that's your choice. But don't. This is this is not only to help people to stay away from crooks, to stay away from con artists, but it's also to help you understand yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because maybe it's calling you because you're fascinated by it or you're interested in it. Damn it, I love the Japanese, but that don't mean I'm gonna take my eyes backwards and go move over there and become one, right?
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by the Catholic Church. That doesn't mean I'm gonna go join the priesthood. It's just,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just fascinated by it. But something that you know is natural for you, it's a there's a core beacon that hits you. There's a calling, there's a registration in the head that tingles when you see this, when you do it.
Yeah.
I knew it from a kid when my parents were taking us to tambores and in New York, in apartments at that, with hundreds of people coming in and out. That this was for me.
Mm-hmm.
Not only because a lot of those people said, "Yo, you need to get down, you need to do." No, it's because I knew it was in my blood. It was in my family line. It was in my lineage. It was in my with my ancestors. My ancestors brought it over here.
Yeah.
You know, which literally brings me to one of the last things, second to last things I want to talk about, which is literally respecting the rules. So I'm going to say it like this: respect and the rules.
Yes. Respect and the rules.
First thing you should do is respect yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Don't lie to yourself and tell listen, when you first start messing with your egg wounds and your ancestors, you're gonna know things you didn't know before.
Yeah.
You're gonna hear something and it's gonna come true or happen, and you're gonna be fascinated by it. Don't let it, tighten the sphincter to the point that you think you're the shit.
Yeah.
Let's not do that. Because they're gonna lead you down. It's not that you're gonna get your ancestors to tell you things that are either gonna come true or be real because they want you to be the grand psychic of the world or the Long Island medium or the no. It's because they want you to follow the path. So they
Mhm.
want to show you the truth and show you where you belong to make you comfortable, fluff your pillow.
I I remember.
Wait, 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 wait. But don't let that convince you that because they're speaking to you and they're giving you accurate answers or they're telling you about the person standing next to you and 5 minutes later what they said comes to fruition. Don't let that convince you that you're above your freaking level.
Mhm.
Too many people come into this and on for step one, they're like, oh, I'm the shit and I'm gonna and I'm and I've seen a lot of people that get initiated and receive their beads. And after they receive their beads, they run off and they start telling people they're santeras, they're santeros, they're pirititas. No, you're not. You're a baby. When
Mhm.
you come into this religion, and this is the only thing I'll share, your first initiation, you are brought back to a baby. We don't wear all white because we think we're godly. We wear all white for purity,
Mhm.
to give us the pure path into this. So yeah, you receive your beads. You're wearing all white for 21 days. If you received your beads and they did not tell you to wear white for 21 days, avoid anything that adult would do, anything intimate, alcohol, drugs, TV, radio. You're supposed to avoid all of this. Not just when you do your asiento, which is your crowning your year in 7 days. No, usually from the very beginning when you first receive your beads, you're supposed to spend 21 days a baby.
Mhm.
You're home before it's dark. You don't sit down and watch TV all day. You don't play video games all day. You act as a baby. You live your life. If you're working, and you wear a uniform, you wear your whites under your uniform.
Mhm.
You come you for your 21 days. When you get out of work, you don't go to your friend's house to smoke a blunt, you go straight home. You don't go to your friend's house to have a drink. You don't go to the bar, you don't go to the movies, you handle your business, get your groceries, get yourself together and be home before dark. I've never seen an infant or a baby out there running around playing street games in the dark. You know what I'm saying? It's because you come into this, it takes you out of that old you and makes you a new you. And for some of us, it resets you.
Mhm.
So it brings you back to your original path, not the path you were walking before that and chose to do.
Mhm.
Like I said in the last video, had my first few sets of godparents that knew the person I was and what I was into, and they, instead of encouraging me to do the opposite and better myself, they encouraged me to do it more so I can make money so I can pay them.
Yeah.
To teach me nothing, to show me nothing. Thank God for a grandmother who was born and raised in the religion. Thank God for a great grandfather who's a babalao 8 times over in the religion. Other than that, I would have been screwed. And I've had other family members who are high up in the religion that I'm going to teach you the world and taught me nothing. They taught me that family will spite you faster than a stranger,
Yep.
so
That
you don't
will.
come up. And I don't understand what's that fear in people that they don't want to see you come up because you might surpass them. Damn it, if you're going to surpass me, go ahead and do it. That's what God chose for you. That's not my path.
Yep. And it's funny when backtrack to how you say you stand next to somebody and egoons tell you things. Like I've plenty of times happened to me. I've even had egoons tell me full blown conversations that I was never in the room for. And I remember having a conversation with somebody and I told them, yo, this is what I was told, XYZ. And the first thing, knowing who I am, knowing that, my ego will speak to me and I hear them and the first thing they said, how do you know that?
She got Siete Rayos standing right behind her.
And I'm just like, and they're like, how do you know that? And I'm just like, and that I took offense to that because it's like, you know me, you know what my capabilities are, and you questioning not only me, but you questioning my airgoons and trying to tell them and try to me it felt like you were saying they can't tell you that. It doesn't exist. It does.
I was offended when you told me somebody told we can't hear our
Yeah.
what? Are you then you better not be telling people you a santero or babalao. You better keep your mouth shut on that one because the first thing we taught is that your ancestors are everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't believe. I mean, as a kid, I didn't believe that I would ever see a dead person. I always thought I was losing my mind.
Yeah. Oh, I got.
As a very young kid, very 9 years old, I got sick. Real quick. I
Mm-hmm.
got sick and I had 104 fever. And I remember my parents putting me in the bathtub in ice water and putting me back in bed. And the fever was breaking, but it was taking really long. They were really nervous about it. And outside of my bedroom window was a landscape of rocks. And the projects that we moved to from Puerto Rico to New York, there were rocks. And above the rocks, on the above street, which was called T-Bot Avenue, there was a parking garage. And prior to me getting sick, a pregnant woman went into labor. She accidentally threw her car in reverse and flew out the wall. So you could see the outline of where they had to repatch the wall when her car flew out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, mind you, she passed with baby due to that accident. It was an accident.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in bed sick as hell, 103, almost 104 fever. And I watched a white Bengal tiger come down these rocks. And my parents, it was winter, and they had the windows open, both windows open this much, so I could get the cold air on me to bring my temperature down.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched this tiger come out off the rocks, come in my window. We lived on the second floor, come into my room, lay down on me, and lick my face. The next day, I was perfectly fine. 10 years old, not even 10 years old. A few months after that, I woke up in the middle of the night. I went to the bathroom and I was drinking water out of the bathroom sink. And I picked my head up and looked in the mirror and I saw the exorcist standing behind me. But like when she's fully possessed. Have
Mm-hmm.
you ever seen the movie?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm a kid and I see this and I'm like, oh man, I start screaming bloody murder. My parents come running in. I'll go to bed, you imagining things. 13, my mother sits us down to scare the shit out of us and we watch that movie from start to end. And right when that little girl got possessed and she started floating in the air, I broke down in tears and I couldn't watch it no more. And everybody kept saying, "What the hell is wrong with you?" That's what I saw as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And it took till then. Now I was only 13 when this happened. When we watched the movie, and that's when I knew there was something with me. And I knew things like I would pick up regular decks of cards and read people with regular cards
Mm-hmm.
and be spot on at 100% accurate.
It it's funny because growing up, my family got like the fuck out of me too. They were like, "Oh, it's your imagination," and me, I know it wasn't my imagination because how is it that my imagination is this real? It's always like this. I've always seen things, always, always. So, and I also was the my grandmother hated watching movies with me because it would be a movie I never seen, and from start to finish, I used to tell her everything. Oh, this is gonna happen, and she's like, Gianna, you've seen this movie. And I used to crack up laughing. No, Grandma, I never did. It's the first time I seen it, and I used to tell even from a young age to tell people, oh, this is what's gonna happen, or this is what it is, and people used to be like, no, 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 and then when it happens, oh my God, it happens. It got to the point where some people used to be like, Gianna, shut up, because every time
Mhm.
you speak and you say this is what's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. I want to be surprised. And I was like, okay.
And that's where I'm gonna come in on the close of this, right? If you know if you know you have a gift and you have something, and then you go to somebody and then they tell you that yes, you do have an ability and you should further it, and Santeria's for you and Ifa's for you, and you should embrace your egun, embrace your orisha and go for it. Just go for it. Listen to your heart first. Your heart is gonna pick through the gravel and pick through the ingredients to build you a foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Trust God. Go with God first and ask God if this is for you, then give you the reason. If it's for you, you're gonna get your reason.
Yep.
And even if you don't get it right away, try it. You know what I'm saying? If you've already gone through the steps of getting the Odu read and seeing a Babalao and seeing a Santero and getting all your answers, and you got your confirmations and you got your second opinions, go for it. Try
Mhm.
it. Because only you know what you're capable of, and God knows the rest. Not even your parents could tell you what you're capable of because all they did was make you. You build you. No one can walk your path for you.
Yep.
No one can be in your shoes but you. You can lend your shoes out, but that doesn't mean that they're you.
Mhm.
So so trust yourself. Trust that if it's telling you, nah, this ain't for you, run, then run. Tighten your shoes and run.
Yep.
If it tells you to sit down and get comfortable, sit down and get comfortable and see what happens now. And them telling you sit down and get comfortable doesn't mean that they're telling you this is for you. This is for you. It said this is for you. Sit
Mhm.
down and get comfortable means see what it's about. You might find what's for you and you might not. And it's not about coming in because in this religion, there's many paths you can go. You can be a santero, a piritita. You can be a herbalist. You can be a babalao.
Mhm.
Women, females, don't think you can elevate higher than a santera because you can be Yanifa. And the Yanifa is a female babalao.
Mhm.
See, a lot of people still to this day, with all the changes, thank God for the LGBT community because they saved Santeria. And we owe the whole community a freaking round of applause and respect.
Mhm.
Because in the 80s, when they was trying to ban it from New York, and we won a case it was in New York where the case was won for us to sacrifice, have the right to sacrifice. If you did it in a humane and a private way, yeah, you couldn't just go to Central Park and rip a head off a chicken and think you was gonna get away with it. But there were laws put into place for us to practice.
Mhm.
Live there, do your research. There's laws out there that they gave us the right to practice. In saying that, you know, don't harm an animal if it doesn't need to be harmed. Don't take a life if it doesn't. You're not God.
Yep.
God is God. God makes that decision of when you are coming in and when you're going back up.
Mhm.
Follow that. But don't live here on this earth. Don't walk this earth letting people convince you that it ain't for you. It's evil. It's voodoo. Yeah, some of it is.
Yes.
Some of it is. I'm not gonna lie. If I lie to you, shit, I shouldn't do this. I'm here to tell you the truth. Yeah, there is voodoo in this. But if you know your research, Jesus wasn't handed myrrh, frankincense, and the three freaking gifts that the Bible tells you he was gifted. Jesus was handed three scrolls: life, death, and magic.
Mhm.
If you don't believe me, read your Bible twice.
Mhm.
How the hell you think he gave the blind sight,
Raise
the
it.
crippled flexibility and good legs and people don't understand that. You were taught again. I'm gonna say it one more time. Your beliefs are your beliefs.
Mhm.
Believe me, don't believe me. That's up to you. I'm not here to convince you what you should believe. I'm here to tell you, don't fall for the bullshit.
Yep.
Don't fall for the con artist. That's gonna Anybody you go to that tells you, first of all, just to receive your first set of Elekis should not cost you more than $121. When you receive those, you should only receive seven that
Mhm.
represent the seven African powers, the first seven Orishas that were brought to the US and used. Then after that, whatever elevates, elevates. You can elevate. If they tell you you can't talk to your egums, walk away fast.
No,
Let
then
your egums glide you away from them.
run.
Not everybody's what's that kid's name? Osmond.
The
The sixth sense. This ain't the sixth sense. Not
I was just
everybody
watching
could
that
do that.
yes the
Not
other day.
not there's people that could do that, but there's different type of spiritual routes with that too.
I remember.
You got your clairvoyants that they hear and they feel energies and they
Mhm.
speak to the dead, but they don't see the dead.
Yeah.
Then you got your spiritualists that really they do it all. They see the dead. Then you got your auto writers that the dead literally sit on your lap, right for you, right through you.
Mm-hmm.
There's different spiritual routes to take with it. But your gift is your gift.
Yep.
If you're born with it, you're born with it. Some people are born with the gift of gab. Some people are born with a spiritual gift. Some people are born with the gift to sell a fish water, to sell a cloud rain. You know that you're a salesman, whatever. But there's people they're being crucified for this religion, left and right over here. And Florida's a hot spot. You got Miami, you got Orlando, you got
Tampa.
Tampa. You know what I'm saying? Florida's big on the religion because the Cubans come from Cuba and the Puerto Ricans come from Puerto Rico. And they land most of the time land here first, if not in New York.
Yep.
In New York, the religion is rampant.
Oh, it's very.
And in Hollywood, trust and believe when I tell you, a lot of you people out here fooled. Beyonce's into witchcraft, does brujeria. Beyonce used the religion to conceive her two twins. Jay-Z, look at their pictures. Go backwards when she was pregnant with her last two. You will see Ochun. You
Mm.
will see Obatala. And they're both rocking it. J-Lo. Forrest Whitaker's a babalao.
Mark Anthony.
Mark Anthony. Chango.
Mm.
Celia Cruz. Tito Puente. Navoa. What is his name? Peter Navoa. Uh,
Yeah. I think it's,
Pedro Navoa. Some shit like that.
yeah.
These were people that were in the religion. To this day, I got a bracelet my mom got from Celia Cruz in my with my astro. There's stars that made it to where they made it through this religion. Shit, I'll even tell you in the 80s, there was a president that made it to the White House, and his wife was a big contributor to the religion. They were Republicans. That's the funny part of this. See, I knew I would get a laugh out of you because they were Republicans, you
The
know?
Christian conservatives.
So because a lot of people don't talk about this religion, don't mean it's not big. It's
Mhm.
everywhere.
It is.
It's everywhere.
When I was doing my research before, when I got before I got my first set, I did a research. The biggest hotspots are New York, Florida, and Cuba. Besides motherland, but those are the big spots. And then it it's over millions of people that practice Santeria, but nobody knows
Hmm.
it's a thing like you have to know this person by word of mouth. But now we're in a day and age where everything is technical, technology, everything's spread through the internet.
Hmm.
So
The biggest thing that I say Florida itself taught me about the religion was that it comes in all shapes and forms, and there's no person that can't be in the religion. I've
mhm,
seen Chinese. I've seen Chinese babalaos. It blew. So it's not about your nationality or where you were born, what land you resided from. I've seen white, I've seen Chinese, I've seen Jamaican, I've seen all types of different races
mhm,
in this religion. It's about is it your religion? Is it for you? That you if you really feel pulled to it, get a reading. And don't go to just any botanica. Find a source. In this day and age with technology, you probably get a review on somebody.
probably Yelp person.
So, and I know I wrote this down because I wanted to take notes. I read a lot over the course of the week, in
Mhm.
between videos, so that I can make sure when I say something, I know what I'm saying. Trust.
Yes.
I want people to trust the religion, but not just anybody in the religion.
Mhm.
You'll know somebody pure of heart. You'll know somebody that's talented.
Mhm.
I shouldn't have to ask you any questions when I read you. I should just be able to come off the top like I've always done and
Mhm.
tell you things. The only thing I need to know is your date of birth. That's it. And not even the year, just the day and the month and the day you were born,
Mm-hmm.
and we go from there. But if you sit down with somebody and they tell you, well, what's your name and your birthday, and do you have any siblings, and then they're just picking things from you.
Yeah. Like,
You know, there was this blonde kid I used to watch on TV, and I'm not trying to, cause
mhm,
no rifts in the world, but there's a few people that were on TV that I sat down and watched, and I was like, if you don't get the questions, you don't see he's pulling the answers from you.
mhm,
He's watching your responses and pulling the answers from you.
yeah.
If you can't see that, then don't do it. Don't
I,
do the reading.
I'm only laughing because I've done it to YouTube tarot readers on their lives. I fed them information purposely. To me, it was more like, how real are you? Because if I'm feeding you the information and you're turning it into part of your reading, what happens when I stop? And I stopped, and the live ended like 5 minutes later.
Oh, I've only been on TikTok for say 2 months now.
Mm-hmm.
3 months.
What, 3 months?
I've already got banned by so many places, so many people kicked, and I don't care. I didn't know you before that. I ain't gonna know you after that.
Mm-hmm.
Good job in kicking me out and clicking the button. But
Yep.
before you got to click that button and kick my ass out, I got to say what I had to say, and I let you know you're a fake, you phony. And it's a shame because it's like people really need help out here.
And
People really need help, and they're at the point of desperation.
mm-hmm.
And for you to kick them over the line and be a habitual line stepper, to constantly kick them over the line of desperation, to get them on their feet, to enrich them, to only rip them and strip them, to kick them back over the line.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, when God makes your ass the line, it's gonna be a line you're never gonna forget.
Yep. And as like you said, as a tarot reader, you know, our job is we give you the information. So this is how I see it. I give you the information, the tools to help you better yourself. I don't want you coming back.
That's
And a lot of people are like, why? I don't want you coming back because if I gave you all the tools that you need, what reason do you have to come back to me?
and in my opinion, that is one of the best things that I've taught you to stand by. Stand firm by it. Don't ever give that up. Regardless of who flashes what riches in your face, give it all up front.
Yeah.
All of it. Give them the truth. Give them accuracy. Give them a destination to go to and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
But don't give people chunks of what they need to get to where they need to be. Somebody's judging you. Somebody's going to hold that over your head.
Mm-hmm.
And do you really want to see the consequence of that? Because, like I said, Eshu's a trickster. Eshu will build you up and make you the richest man, the strongest woman, the most powerful person you could ever imagine. And right when you think you live in your best life, that nigga kick you right back down off that summit and watch you hit every plateau and every cliff and every rock and every tree on the way down, only to laugh at you.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing that I try to teach people. These Orishas don't have pity. Don't think you're gonna take advantage of people and they're gonna be like, "Ah, I understand why he did it." No, 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 no. They're not gonna understand shit. Punishment is punishment, period.
Yep. And I don't want to be punished.
Know your ability, know your strengths, and I'm gonna say it straight up, capitalize on it. Use it to the best of your ability. Don't use it to enrich yourself, because in this religion you can help others, but you can't do that shit for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Only the good you do brings you the blessings you receive to enrich you.
Yep.
And it's not about getting enriched. The Rishas give us the people that come to us to help, so that through helping them and them paying us for our service and our secret, you're damn right you're going to pay me. Because I'm selling you secrets. I'm giving you things I shouldn't give you.
Mm-hmm.
But if I know I'm giving it to you to better you, for you, your family, your children, whatever the case is. Don't take advantage.
Yep.
Don't abuse it. Because the only thing that's going to come from it is you're going to end up right back at the same spot you was in when you first arrived. So to conclude this video, the moral of the story is be real.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be a fool because they're not gonna pity you because you was foolish and you let somebody take advantage of you. Get a second opinion, get a third opinion. And once you are established as to your destiny or do where you're supposed to go with it, have the common sense to not overstep that line
Yep.
and respect the boundaries, respect the line. Every religion has rules and regulations to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's called like for example, we don't didn't Moses bring down the Ten Commandments?
Mm-hmm.
Commandments?
Yep.
Might as well call them fucking laws. Oh, excuse me. Might as well call them laws. Because that's what it is. It's laws, it's rules.
It's laws. At the end of the day, it is. It's 10 laws.
You can't go to the dealership, walk in, grab a set of keys, get in the car, and drive off. 5 minutes later, you're gonna be in jail, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't walk into a store, fill a shopping cart. Well, I don't know about nowadays, but I'm back in the day. You can't go to the supermarket, fill up your shopping cart with all the groceries you need, and just walk out and fill up your cart. You got to pay for it. There's rules.
There's definitely rules. A lot of rules at that.
And if you get into this religion as an adult, when you was taught as a kid that there's rules and to know better, and you don't know no better, and you do what you want, then you asking to be penalized. You're asking to suffer the consequences of
Mm-hmm.
it.
Yep.
And on that note, I say I wish everybody the best. And if you enjoyed this, come back again for the next one.
Yep.